You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start off hot. Yes, I do think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever touch a basketball. Don't even know why that's such a hot take, but that is how I feel about it. Letting y'all know early, I do stand on business. Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Marq Down podcast. I'm your host, Coach Marq. I am here to talk about games, talk about gains, and everything in between. All right, intro episode. So I don't know you guys don't know me. Just want to give a little bit of background about myself. Certified D1 college strength coach. Got a couple of certifications, couple of degrees. Nothing too crazy. Couple reasons why I wanted to start a podcast, man. I'm a fan of sports. Huge fan of sports, specifically basketball. That is my number one. That is my favorite sport. But I love me some football. I watch baseball from time to time, but not the biggest baseball person. But on here, I will be talking a lot of basketball for sure, and I'll be throwing in some football as well. Another reason that's the why I want to start this pod. As a college strength and conditioning coach, and with everything I've learned and everything I've studied over the years, I kind of watch the game a little bit differently. Don't get it twisted. I can still cut the brain off and just be a fan. I'm a huge that boy nice merchant when it comes to watching sports. But as a strength coach, sometimes I do look at the science of things like while the game is going on. I will analyze certain parts of the game from a science standpoint, from a strength coach standpoint, what muscles are being used, which energy system is being used. So just want to give a little bit of my insight on that as well. With all that being said, let's get, now that we got that part of the way, let's get into how I like to view sports, specifically the game of basketball. But of course, every sport and why I view it a little bit differently. The studying I have done. And I've done a lot of studying. Like I said, a couple degrees, couple certifications. The amount of studying I've done, it's just up here. It's just up here. It's just in my brain. I'm constantly thinking about it. Watching sports while I was studying actually is what got me into this mindset. When I was studying for my certification exam, I would go back and I would watch the Olympics. I would go back and I would watch Sha'Carri Richardson run. I would watch Noah Lyles. I would watch, of course, Team USA because big basketball fan, right? And watching them, I would took what I learned from studying and I would read it out loud as the athlete was doing what they were doing. So with Sha'Carri, I'd be like, oh, she's in this energy system. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's using these muscle fibers with no allow. Same thing. Oh, he's using these muscle fibers. He must have ate this before the game to get this activated. He must have did this to warm up. That is just how I view sports now as a whole. And so I feel like because of that, my insight on the game is just a little bit different. Right? A lot of people don't watch the game like that. Some coaches probably don't even watch the game like that. I know for a fact not every strength coach watches the game like that. But since I got into a habit of doing that, that is now how I view the game. And I figured, let me give some insight to the people, but also still make sure I'm a fan. With all that being said, that's just how I view the game. That's just how I view the game. It's weird. I know not a lot of people view the game like that. I'm positive most strength coaches don't even watch sports like that. It might just be me, but like I said, I got into a habit of doing that so much when I was studying, it just became my natural way of watching the game. I'm still real good to cut the brain off and just, he's nice. Plain and simple, he's nice. But that's just how I view the game. Figure, give some people some insight on that. With the strength and conditioning side of things, anatomy, biology, etc., along with the science part, of course, I'm a fan at the end of the day. So yes, I have my opinions. Yes, I have my takes. Yes, I want to put my takes out there. I have been making posts on TikTok, but I decided I need to make longer form content because I have a lot more that I have to say that I can't get off on TikTok. With all that out the way, let's get into what we really want to talk about. Let's talk about some ball. I love where the game is right now. I think the game is in good hands. A lot of people, they're questioning who's the next face and who's after LeBron and Curry and KD are done, who's going to be next. I think we have guys. We have a lot of guys who I personally think could carry the torch as being the next faces of the NBA. And we got some guys in college that are coming up that are absolute dogs, right? Now we're talking about, of course, compared to LeBron, Curry, and KD, that's a different type of standard. Those guys are all-time greats we're talking about here. Like that, different type of standard. So they shouldn't even be compared to anybody. But we have guys like Anthony Edwards. We have Victor Wembanyama, right? We have Jason Tatum. We have Luka Doncic, right? We have guys who I think are very capable of keeping the NBA marketable. In terms of college guys, we got AJ DeBanster coming up. We got Cam Boozer. This year's rookie class. How could I even forget this rookie class? Cooper Flagg, balling. VJ Edgecombe, balling. Derek Queen, Con Knuckle, who's already been, they've already said Con is the face of the Charlotte Hornets now, right? This rookie class has been balling. So it may not be to the level of a Bron, of a Curry, of a KD, even guys before that like Melo, D Wade, CP3, Kobe, Tim Duncan. Like, it may not be to that degree, but those are all-time greats. But we have some guys. We have a lot of talent. I think the league is for sure in good hands for years to come. And since I mentioned Jason Tatum, right, I guess this would be a good time to throw in a little bit of that strength and conditioning magic that I talked about earlier. Let's talk a little bit about the Achilles injury, right? We had a lot of guys go down with Achilles injuries, man. Jason Tatum, of course, being one of them. Tyrese Halliburton, we all saw that game 7. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to get into that right now. I want to stay with the strength and conditioning topic, but that was sad. But yeah, we had a lot of Achilles injuries, and a lot of people immediately, it's the shoes, it's the shoes, it's the shoes, it's the shoes. Do shoes play a role? A little bit. For an Achilles tear, not so much, right? The purpose of a high top shoe is to prevent your ankle from rolling. That side to side movement. Your Achilles sits right under your calf. It's close to your heel. It's in the back of the leg. The Achilles is not moving like that. The Achilles moves up and down, right? So with all that being said, a high top shoe cannot prevent an Achilles tear. You could have a high top shoe up to your knee. If you can do a calf raise, you can still tear your Achilles. I'm just going to put it straight like that, right? If you can get up on your toes, no matter what shoes you're wearing, you still have the potential to tear your Achilles simply because of the movement of that muscle. High tops were meant to prevent ankle rolls. That motion right there. When you step on somebody's foot, your ankle goes like that. That is what high tops were meant to prevent. High tops can't do anything about this. They cannot do anything about this. And if you do make a high top sneaker that does prevent this motion, you're not going to be able to play for real, because now you can't get off the ground. You can't pop off the ground because now you can't move your calves. So that's just pretty much the thing with that. An overuse injury is typically the cause of these Achilles tears. These guys, they do the same motion every day. Every day. They're jumping up and down. They're jumping up and down. That can cause an overuse injury. You're using the same muscle over and over and over and over and over again. I like to give the analogy, you have a sheet of paper, and imagine you just take that sheet of paper, you just keep folding it back and forth. Keep folding it back, just repetitively folding back and forth. That paper will tear on its own because the crease that you made is going to get weak. And it's going to rip on its own. You don't even have to try. Overuse injuries work pretty much the same way, right? Of course, there's a deeper science. I'm not going to get into the super deep science part of it, but that's why it's important to parents, have your kids, to athletes out there, play multiple sports. Growing up, specialize in one sport when you get older, but as you're coming up, play multiple sports for as long as you can. Be able to train in different planes of motion. Be able to learn how to move across different planes of motion, because your body will be able to adapt. If you just spend your time doing the same types of movements over and over and over and over and over again, yes, you will succumb to some type of injury. So play different sports. Play different sports. Play as many sports as you can play up until you decide it's time to specialize in one particular sport. Now that we got the sports science talk out the way, let's get into some takes. Preferably the biggest take in basketball right now, in sports for the most part, right? Let's talk about the GOAT conversation. Let y'all know, first episode off rip, I stand on business on who I think the greatest player of all time is, and nobody out there can change my mind. Nobody out there can change my mind. Nobody. With that being said, yes, I do think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever walk the face of the earth. the greatest player I've ever seen with my own two eyes. The greatest basketball player ever. Hands down. Hands down. I'm not going to tell you why I think that, though. Instead of telling you why I think that, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with y'all right now. I'm going to tell y'all why I don't feel the need to debate or argue that. I feel like the GOAT debate is pointless. I really don't participate in the GOAT debate. I don't. We go in circles. We go in circles, right? We all talk, no matter who you think the GOAT is, we all just talk in circles. It's the same argument over and over and over and over again. If you think Jordan's the GOAT, you're going to give the same argument. If you think LeBron is the GOAT, you're going to give the same argument. If you think Kobe's the GOAT, you're going to give the same argument. Stephen Curry, same argument. No matter who you think the greatest player of all time is, you're going to give the same numbers, the same facts, the same statements, no matter who you're debating or who you're arguing with, who you're arguing against, whatever the case may be, you're going to give the same facts. And it's just talking in circles. I feel like it gets tiring to me. It gets tiring to me. I don't participate in it. No one's going to change my mind about who I think the GOAT is. Yeah, you can say I don't know ball, whatever. I don't care enough to argue with you. I'm not going to debate with you. Simply because that's an argument that goes in circles. I'll talk sports. I'll debate anything except who the GOAT is. Plus, it's all subjective. No one has the same GOAT. Especially if you're talking to an older head, they may say Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, or Kareem. I've heard those three. And no, I don't agree. Absolutely not. No, I don't agree with Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain being the GOAT. No, I don't agree with that. However, me, LeBron. It's LeBron James all day, every day. 40,000 points, 4 rings, 4 MVPs, 4 finals MVPs. My man's been to 10 finals, 8 straight. And a lot of people give him backlash for that. But he's been to 10 finals. 10 finals is impressive. Most teams that have been around have not been to 10 finals. One man by himself has been to 10 finals. 8 straight. 8 straight. Been to 10 total. That's crazy. 23 seasons in the league. Insane. Come on, man. And truth be told, LeBron didn't even become my GOAT till 2018. That's when I was like, oh, this is the greatest player I've ever seen. Yeah, he had the 3-1 comeback in 2016. I watched that game. I watched that entire Game 7. The entire Game 7. That, to me, still did not put him at the GOAT spot. 2018, yes. 2018, I was like, bro, this might be the greatest basketball player I've ever seen with my own eyes. Like, I really started considering it. He got ring number 4. I was like, yeah, man, LeBron's my GOAT. Broke the all-time scoring record. Solidified pretty much at this point already. But that just took it over the top for me. That just took it over the top for me, right? That man's the greatest basketball player I have ever seen. Hands down. No question about it. As a horror movie fan, as a slasher horror movie fan, bro, I like to compare LeBron James to Michael Myers. Both unstoppable, both been doing this for a very long time. I think Michael Myers is the greatest slasher in slasher movie history, right? Same way I think LeBron's the greatest NBA player. Now I get it. Crazy segue. Quick disclaimer. Huge nerd over here. Not just exercise science. Movies. Anime. Comics. I'm all about that, right? So expect to get a little bit of some of that pop culture stuff sprinkled in here and there. Not the main focal point of the podcast, but yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I'll talk about some anime. Love Marvel, love DC. When Avengers Doomsday come out, yes, I will give my takes and opinions on it. I love Doctor Doom. One of my favorite villains ever. Love Doctor Doom. Got the whole Books of Doom comic book series. Yes, I love Doctor Doom. Curious as to how they're going to make it work with Robert Downey Jr. after he's literally just been Tony Stark for the past 10 years. Very, very curious about that. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close it out for the first episode of the Mark It Down podcast. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. I will be recording and posting weekly. You guys can expect episodes from me weekly, giving my sports takes, talking about games, going over stats, of course, talking about the strength and conditioning and the science part of sports, the performance side of things. And you can expect a little bit of pop culture stuff, a little bit of anime stuff, a little bit of movie stuff, depending on what's going on out there. Once again, I want to thank everybody for listening, for tuning in with me on this first episode of my pod. Once again, I will be posting weekly. Next episode, I'm going to be discussing a little bit about the MVP race, how I felt about the MVP race these past few years, and who I think should be in MVP talks and who I think should get it. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. This has been the Mark It Down podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mark, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.